Good evening, fellow armchair Imagineers. It's your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So, like the jack-o'-lanterns, suit up and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's selection. Arthur, the Fright stuff. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. All right, Dragon. We've been taking a bit of a break from Haunted Holiday Hijinks. It's time to dive right back into it. Got any? Of course, we've talked about Arthur a few times here on the channel. We're both pretty big fans of Arthur. You know, he's kind of in the public access all stars vault, if you will. I mean, he's really like the creme de la creme when it comes to PBS animated programming. And of course, we most recently talked about Arthur for the Mister Rogers special. But any nostalgia for this one in particular, Dragon? Anything you want to get off your chest before we just get into the recap proper?
Oh yeah, I have tons of nostalgia for this one. I remember this one's always basically the ending of this one is something that's vividly stuck in my mind for a long while. So this one was like an old stomping ground for me
Is
rewatching it.
this like your haunted train?
Kinda. I guess that's a fair comparison. It is kind of a haunted train, you know. Basically, the ending with Mr. Crosswire. That's the bit that always that was when I was thinking of that Arthur Halloween special. I keep thinking of that. Basically, the third act with Arthur with the Crosswire, and then basically the moral of the whole thing. That's what I remember.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so let's dive right into it.
Yes, indeedy. So, let's see. We see kind of this haunted woods, kind of a haunted forest going on here.
I really love the colors in this forest, by the way.
Yeah, really good color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're in this haunted forest, and we see this pair of werewolf hands kind of coming out of like a.
Oh no, it's Benicio del Toro.
No, it's Arthur wearing werewolf hands, faking us out, and of course his first line of the episode is "Gotcha." And it's kind of like a little cold open. They usually like to open the Arthur episodes like a little cold open like this, so like it's a little thing before they have the title card pop up, where it's Arthur basically setting the stage for what the episode's going to be about, telling us that he loves practical jokes, and the thing he loves about him is that you don't know when one's going to sneak up on you. And of course, sneaking up behind him as he's saying that is another Arthur. Ooh-wee.
This is great. This is great.
Yeah, this is delightful. So, or who's behind it? Of course, in saying both of those things, we reveal the second Arthur, and we have a classic Scooby Doo mask gag, essentially, where both Arthurs are moving.
Buster, Francine,
Binky. Then, when Binky removes the other Arthur's head, we reveal no head, and Binky freaks out like, "Oh my god!" And he runs.
I gotta say, Drake, that's a pretty memorable cold open right there.
Yeah, it's really cool, and
It really is. It really like sets the tone, and it like revealing there's no head. It's like it's kind of one of those things that I imagine like I didn't grow up with this special. Like I don't remember this one the same way you do. But I gotta say, it's one of those specials I wish I had some nostalgia for because if I watched this as a kid, I'm sure it would have made an impression on me the same way other Arthur episodes do.
I mean, it's been years since I've watched this one from the beginning to the end. So, I mean, I had that ending on lockdown, but I remembered a lot of the other bits. I kind of forgot about this cold open. There was something simpatico with kind of the like, man, that's a good cold open.
Uh-huh.
So, of course, then we reveal Arthur. Basically, he pops his head from under his shirt there and reveal, okay, Arthur's perfectly fine. It's just, see what I mean? It's a little cutesy. Then we begin the episode. So then we begin the episode. We have Brain in the cafeteria. The cafeteria. He discovers that his spaghetti in like a little Tupperware container has been replaced with worms.
Worms.
They're not worms because that'd be disgusting. We can't advocate that sort of behavior on children's television. No,
Remember in the Haunted Mask, Carly Beth eats a worm in a sandwich.
right. What we have instead, Sue Ellen, one of their little friends, with the pink hair. Sue Ellen points out that they're jelly worms. Of course, I wonder if it has to be like a product placement thing where they can't say gummy worm. It has to be jelly worms.
Oh, yeah, I did. I kind of that stood out to me too.
And Brain then finds an envelope kind of tucked underneath the container or something, like the inside of the lid, whatever. And so again, there's a little envelope, little. We're building a little theme, a little intrigue, a little quid pro quo, promise of more to come. Anyway, not really how quid pro quo works, but it kind of sounded neat in the moment. Anyway, moving on. So then we have Arthur. What happens with Arthur?
Arthur discovers that his science book now has a spider stuffed onto it.
Yes, and I love the spring-loaded nature of like the spider kind of like has been rigged so it jumps at him. So a spider has jumped on Arthur, and then he gets bitten by it, and he dons this red and blue outfit, and he's swinging around. He's buddying up with Iron Man. Nope, sorry, that's the wrong franchise. No, what actually happens is a spider jumps on him. He's freaking like and of course Buster reveals it's a toy spider with a letter on the other.
We get a dramatic skull wipe dragon.
Yes, and I love the transitioning things. Like we have the balloons and we have the skulls and everything. That's really neat.
Right, then so he has the skull stuck in his helmet, in his football helmet.
Yeah, he's trying to put his helmet on. It's like, hey! It opens up. It's a skull. And that one is probably the most terrifying of all of them, though. Like you find a skull in your helmet, like, oh my god!
Like if it's a live human skull, yeah, I mean that's some Seven shit right there.
You gotta remember, Tiki, this is like if this were CSI, this is like how every episode of CSI opens, like someone like, oh, about to go on my merry way, and then oh my god, dead body part. It's pretty much again. If this was in Nevada, then I'm sorry, folks. It's an outdated reference. I'm thinking of CSI back when it was in its heyday. Let me just rephrase that. So the point is, Pinky finds a skull in there. Thankfully, it is a fake skull because we can get away with that in standards and practices. Fake skull pops out, and what comes out of the fake skull's mouth?
Comes out of the fake skull's mouth. I don't have that written down. Sorry.
Letter. It's yet another envelope.
Oh yes, right.
Spits out an envelope. Of course, Binky had the great line, "Who are you?" Just when he's waiting for him. Spits out a letter as if it were an answer to "Who are you?" It's a letter. Oh, yeah, it's funny. So the gangs all gather around. They're going to Francine, and going to Francine to tell them what's going on there. It's like, oh, we got all these letters, and what's going to be all these being scared by something weird's going on here. And as they're, she's telling them to relax, guys, relax. I mean, you don't know what this is all about. And as she's doing that, a tentacle appears from behind her. Buster's looking at it like, no, it's like he's pointing behind her, and she's not getting. And then basically the tentacle grabs her and pulls her behind the building. It looked like basically we saw a monster. We see a monster drag her away, and we reveal, no, it's all fine because it's Muffy.
You should have seen the looks on your faces.
So we reveal that she's in on it with Muffy Crosswire here. So they're the two gal pals are in on it. Muffy, essentially, this was Muffy's elaborate way of inviting the gang to the Halloween party that she's having for the Scare Your Pants Off books. Essentially, it's a Halloween party where they managed to score the Scare Your Pants Off author. And the Scare Your Pants Off books, this is kind of funny. They really brought this to fruition here, where Scare Your Pants Off was a parody of Goosebumps, and the author later on is a parody of R.L. Stine. Kind of neat. And again, ties into all of our Scholastic Book Fair love.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Muffy.
Scholastic Book Fair stuff for me kind of comes later in the episode.
Certainly. And then basically it coincides with the release of the most recent book, which is House of the Jack-O-Lantern. So E.A. DePaul, I believe that's her name. E.A. DePaul, again, like an R.L. Stine type name. She's coming to read her book to the people at the Halloween party. And I love this. I love a little world building here. The idea Mr. Crosswire was a student of hers, and she was his
Oh,
favorite teacher, and that's how he managed to score her at the party. Uh, Her name's like actually Miss McWord, which is it's got a little on the nose, but yeah, it's kind of cute, I guess. Miss McWord. Anyway, so again, Muffy has made the boys her very special guest because she wants payback for April Fool's Day when they pranked her on April Fool's Day. And how did that prank go?
I'm sorry, what?
How did that prank go? We have a little flashback to what the April Fool's Day prank was.
I guess something about her. I'm sorry, Dragon. My notes are kind of vague. I apologize for that. She's something about her screaming in a library.
Yeah, she's getting like a book on Dracula, and they have a bat on on a rope on the other side of it, and freaking
Oh,
her
right,
out.
right. I just remember. I just have written down in my notes like she screams after a prank, only to be hushed.
Yes, by the librarian, basically looking foolish, and but of course it's being shushed, and they're having a kick out of it. So again, this is payback, and they're
So where is the party, Dragon?
Castle Manor. So yes, this old school kind of haunted mansion type. It's a castle, I guess, in the literal sense.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It vaguely reminds me of the Doug Halloween special.
A little, yeah, there's a bit of that there, yeah. And again,
Especially because it's like an old haunted house that's been turned into something else.
yeah, I love the rationale for why we get this location. The idea is Crosswire bought it so he can turn this location into an antique car museum because he has a lot of cars and he sells cars. That's why he made his money. Good rationale for why we're in like this big structure, like this big haunted castle manor. So it's been empty. So the legend goes it's been empty for 50 years and it's haunted. Haunted, more accurately. And of course, the girls tell him like, "Hey, you don't have to come if you're so afraid." And of course, Buster's like, "Really?" And of course, like, "No, Buster, you're making us look bad." I mean, no, we're not afraid. We're not afraid of anything. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I think it was Binky I think Binky.
Yeah, Binky says he's not afraid of anything. Yeah.
Good old Binky. That sounds like a Binky gag. So Binky's like, I mean, we're not afraid of anything. We're guys, right? And you gotta tell there's a little bit of dated, like the old school masculinity going on here. It's either played out.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Maybe not dated, but like a little old hat. I think probably be the better.
Well, speaking of dated, the next line, I believe, if I have it written down correctly, is we see the guys all together and they're like, Arthur, I believe, our dear sweet Arthur Dragon, the pinnacle of public programming, all right?
Yeah.
The pinnacle of kids animation and education says, the older I get, the more I think there's nothing scarier than girls.
Well, that was Buster, but yes.
Oh, it was Buster? Okay, good.
Yeah, Buster gets the funny line there. Nothing scarier than girls. As they laugh and they walk up after like inviting him to like, if you dare, and of course, so the extra special guests, the boys, they're outside the manor and getting they're kind of surveying.
I love how they're so freaked out about it, man. There's like a genuine intimidation factor going on here,
and it makes sense. Like, their logic sound here. Like if they scared them just like the invitations, imagine how scary the actual prank's going to be looming over their heads. So I love the staging of this, by the way. I love how we're going to be on the outside of this location, then we're going to be directly on the inside of like kind of our two stories simultaneously going on here. And you got to remember, Tiki, they really is all in 11 minutes. We're doing a lot of again. That's the thing when we look at animation. A lot of the time, we look at a TV series. Many a time, it won't be a 22-minute episode. A lot of time, it'll be an 10 to 11-minute episode broken down. And if they're doing their jobs right, if the episode's good, that's a lot of story conveyed within 11 minutes and without feeling tacked on. It's a really good economy of story they got going on here, I felt.
Yeah, of course, and we've glowed about that with Hey Arnold specifically for being able to tell an 11-minute story beautifully well, like time and time again.
Of course, and I think honestly in the 11-minute kind of like breakdown, I think that the two times we've probably been most proud of anything has been a Freakazoid with the Arms Akimbo episode.
God.
In Arms Away, and the most impressed I think we've ever been. I think the barometer at the top of like short, telling a great story in a very short amount of time has been the Garfield, Holiday Heatwave. Holiday Heatwave, 7 minutes.
7 minutes, right.
7 minutes. And it's the best thing probably the best thing we've ever done on Christmas in July.
Probably at least
7 minutes.
it epitomizes Christmas in July the most.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, so the boys are gathered outside the house, kind of thinking about, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And they get an idea, like we're gonna beat them to the scare, yeah. And we know those books inside and out. We'll
Now here
outscare them.
comes the Scholastic Book Fair part of the episode for me, Dragon.
Yeah, and this took me back because I forgot this was all. For some reason, I forgot all of this was in the same episode, but I knew like the bit when we cite the literary references here. I knew some of these references. Go on. Um, Go on.
Oh, sorry. Okay, they decide to do Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart.
And this is the one that always stuck.
Is that the heart is beating because there's no candy.
For years before I knew about Edgar Allan Poe, this was like my main frame of reference. I just kept thinking of this and Telltale. Whenever I heard Telltale Heart, I kept thinking of this scene. Before I found out how truly horrifying the real story is for that. I didn't think it was actual. I love retroactively. If you don't know about that story, it's like a heart does come into play and is buried beneath floorboards. So I like that. Like there is a heart involved in both stories. That's kind of funny.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they get no candy.
They get War of the Worlds.
This one was clever, and I forgot about that. This is the one I specifically forgot was in this episode here, where Buster. I like how well read all these kids are, and you're right. Feels so Scholastic Book Fair, and that was the cool thing about Arthur. Arthur cited a lot of actual literature, and it was education without being in your face about it in a way of like, oh, they're trying to teach us something. Ugh. But yes, Buster and War of the Worlds. We have kind of a very close encounters moment, like the ending.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The ending of Close Encounters, where like all these great colorful lights, the girls are met by these giant, kind of cool-looking crab-like aliens. Are very friendly, darn friendly, pleasant aliens. I love these guys. Darn pleased to meet you as they extend their claws, they shake hands, and the girls freak out. And then Buster shakes hands with them. They're very like, in an optimistic world, and like a world where we don't have interaction ends up like Independence Day. Wouldn't that be a nice subversion of that movie? Like, oh, they're the aliens. Let's shake hands with them, say hi. It's like a photo op, We have all these, we have all these like pointless photos of like, hey, big important figure in government shaking the hand of another big important figure in government. Like we need more like Elvis Nixon photos like that. That's what we need more of. That's a story behind that versus like just guys in suits shaking hands. Anyway.
All right. So what about a headless horse guy dragon?
Yeah, from Creepy Hollow.
Oh, God. So
we reveal Binky as the headless horse guy, and this is quite ingenious. It's pretty much the end of Sleepy Hollow, where the headless horseman is the headless horse guy is chasing the girls, and they're going through that barn, they're going through that structure, the edge of town. Like, is it a barn? Like, what is it? A little tunnel, like a little tunnel out on top of the crossing, I guess.
Yeah, it's a crossing. Yeah,
because I keep thinking of the opening of Beetlejuice whenever I see that thing when I'm watching Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I keep thinking like, oh yeah, it's the thing they got killed off of. Anyway. So it's that stupid dog. That stupid dog killed those people. Anyway, the point is, they go through the thing. Again, it goes pretty much like how the book ends: less lethal, less less full measure, if you will, more of a half measure. Binky, as the headless horse guy, he trips and he falls, and reveal that the headless horse guy was on a bike instead of a horse, which I love that. And it was Arthur on the bike and Binky as the horse guy, but he can't see. Like, why? You're a horse guy. What are you doing? I'm headless. I can't see. Delightful. So then Arthur, of course, has the winning idea we can't disclose because it's kind of a mystery reveal. So Arthur's got the winning idea. Meanwhile, inside the manor.
All right, so Muffy is blowing up some glow-in-the-dark balloons. They're gonna basically, the plan is to have the electricity go on and off, right?
Well, it's a very Scooby-Doo plan. What they do here, they're gonna lure the guys into the library. They're gonna flip the lights, basically make sure the lights are off, and one of them's going to go over to this tape recorder and hit the button. When they hit the tape recorder button, they're going to pull a string, and that string's going to unleash these balloons that are painted. They're black balloons with glow in the dark skulls and bats and stuff, and it's going to fall, and it's going to look like
things.
and things. Of course, things. And if we've learned nothing from the Addams Family, things save the day. Anyway, but no. But in all seriousness, though. These balloons fall. It's very Scooby-Doo like. That's how they did it. Where the balloons fall and we see the glow-in-the-dark figures. That's quite cool. It's a cool-looking effect. It's very well animated. Again, the cheat is like we just animate the falling figures, then we reveal, hey, balloons behind them. That's plain. Just like, hey, go. Basically, it's pulled from one of the books. That's the idea. It's pulled from one of the books, just like kind of glowing, kind of ghosts and spirits kind of falling from the ceiling.
Okay, nice.
Creepy sounds behind it. That's pretty much it. Now, when they leave, the lights flicker. Lights. I think they turn the light back on, then it goes off for a minute. And they say, "Wait, okay, stop messing with the lights." I didn't mess with the lights. Says, "Oh man, we got to tell them to fix the electricity. Something's going on with the lights up here." So again, great foreshadow to what's going on. Those lights went off for a reason. Right. So the boys, they're testing their scare. I like seeing kind of the scam at practice here, kind of the scare being practiced, where Brain has a megaphone making all ghostly noises, and we have this really cool looking effect of Binky with this pumpkin head and these lobster claws. Looks really neat.
Yeah, I love the lobster claws, man. That's a good touch.
Yeah, we need more lobster claws. Like, how long has it been since you've seen someone pull some with lobster claws? Really?
Big, meaty claws.
I know, right? It's been since Band Geeks.
Well, I mean, Venom at least had a joke about lobsters.
I'll give you that, yeah. Anyway, it was memorable about lobsters, but yes. Anyway, okay, so we're the boys basically like, we're gonna scare their pants off. Now we're seeing the flip side. We're gonna scare their pants off. This is gonna be the best practical joke in history. So now it's the night of the party. And this is the third act I really remember here. All this party stuff. This is like stuff like, it's a cool like little mansion they're in. All this crazy stuff. They have like Arthur and the Bionic Bunny get up. That's all very neat and memorable. See like all these party shenanigans going on. You like pin the tail on the skeleton donkey, which is kind of cute and undead. Like that's nice. Let's see the Crosswire. Crosswire is he's a king, and it's like the ideas of Crosswire are royalty, like kings and queens and stuff. So it's kind of like, Crosswire has like he's ego, but that's the Muffy's father always seemed like a nice guy, but he's like a twinge. He doesn't get how his wealth would look to other people. So he's going like a little overly
opulent. Like an oblivious version of Mr. Bluff from Doug.
That's kind of it, yeah. Like he's kind of a more oblivious but nicer version of Mr. Bluff. Like less ego. He's like not an egomaniac, but like he's not an intentional egomaniac, let's say. So Muffy, she's a little one second. Well, we have some good catering around the area and everything. Muffy's just kind of surveilling the area with Francine. We have the skull. She activates a skull chime, and that basically tells everybody, hey, they're introducing kind of their ghost of a host with Miss McWord. The author there to read the book. Meanwhile, we see the boys. Arthur is Bionic Bunny, Buster is a pirate, Brain. I think Brain was another pirate. They had like a pirate theme going on. So they're setting up the scare in the libraries, and they're basically saying, "Okay, we're going to set up the scare in the library." So they're both setting up their scares in the libraries. Something bad. Something's going to go wrong. They're asking where Binky is. No idea where Binky is. And then, as Arthur's saying, like a moment later, we have this pumpkin ghost gag where we know Binky has a pumpkin head. We saw that. Now, all the dominoes have been set up for us, the audience here. So we had a pumpkin head. And it goes up next to Arthur, next to the punch bowl. And says, Binky, go up there, get in position, man. You get a drink later, go up there. Of course, Binky doesn't say a word, which is a little ominous. So again, Binky's he's going up the part. Importantly, Arthur's had a conversation with someone that he thinks is Binky. That's going to be important. So then the girls are like accosting Arthur here and saying, "Arthur, you're gonna miss the story. Oh, I was just looking for you. Why? I heard a noise upstairs." And now they both think they have the upper hand. Of like, oh boy, he's gonna walk right into the scares. This is working out perfectly. Oh boy. So as the reading's going on, we have this really ominous shot, and on a rewatch, I was wondering, is the author in on this at all? Is she?
I could see that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of like a weird. It's
Anything
kind
like
of
R.L. Stein. Like R.L. Stein loved a good publicity stunt.
yeah. That's the thing. It feels kind of like a red. Like it's like an unintentional red herring, and I kind of respect that. I don't know. It's like I know it wasn't
Huh.
intentional, but it's framed like it's intentional. So okay, let's see. So basically, Arthur he's in the location, and Muffy goes to basically hit the button, cue the scare. However, she realizes it's not there, and this delivery, I don't know why this delivery always sticks with me from the special out of all the delivery. I can't find it. I don't know why. It's just Muffy's delivery. I can't find because why would you whisper that loudly across the room? I think that's what it was. So the recorder is missing, which means someone's going off the scare here. Then it looks like the boy's scare works, it seems, because a ghostly pumpkin that you can see before us here makes an appearance and then it disappears, all creepy and ghostly. Like Arthur thinks it's part of the gag. The girls are freaked out, like oh my god, a ghost just appeared, he disappeared, ah! They're running out of the room, screaming success, hooray! And then they're saying, hey, no fair, you guys got rid of our scare. And Arthur's like, well, what are you talking about? You're scared. There was nothing in here. We set up our thing. Come on, guys, come out of here. And of course, they realize, wait a minute. They're not in the library. They're in the opposite room. They're in the playroom. And this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah,
They,
this is where they kind of like ambiguous and like haunted trainee.
yes, yes. So they find the boys basically say, yeah, we had to go to the other room and set things up there. And like Buster thinks, okay, just lower them to the playroom. We'll do it there. They find they found balloons in the recorder in there as well. And like, wait a minute, Francine, did you move it there? No, it wasn't me. And then the ghost appears, and they think, okay, Binky. And then they think it's Binky. Then Binky arrives in like kind of the Cyclops outfit, and basically says, I ran into the fridge and I broke my pumpkin. Can I be a Cyclops instead? And then we basically they all put two and two together here because the ghost is behind him. And it's like, wait a minute, if Binky's here, they turn around and of course ghosts, and they all freak out and they all run downstairs and have the accelerated run. This is like this section on basically the scare onwards where I'm like I'm dialed into that. Like this thing's gonna haunt my memory. It's like, yeah, I got this one on lockdown, like right here. They're all running
I
down.
can see why, and it's like Arthur's usually not a very intimidating show, but for some reason with this episode, it's the beginning and the end really stick with you. You know what I mean? It's like everything's going to be all right at the end, and it's all in good fun. But by the same token, it's kind of implanting that idea in your brain of ghosts. Like, hey, ghosts are out there, kids. Better
Yeah.
watch out. Better not, better look behind your back.
Yeah, I love the moral here. I love the moral where they go tell Mr. Crosswire what's going on. Basically, they cop to playing pranks on each other. Um, and then we reveal, and it's been years since I really appreciate how cleverly this was done because I love this, and I never really, again, it's been years since I've watched this, but I mean, I knew the whole, they explained to Mr. Crosswire, then we have the reveal, but I forgot that how they edited this. So basically, they're telling Mr. Crosswire, and we don't need to see that conversation because what we do, and it is the great kind of cool, trippy moral of it all here, where the same morals being expounded, but as Mr. Crosswire is being told what happened as he's getting into a speech, I'm sure, we pan up to the attic and we reveal a ghostly father expounding the same lesson to his ghostly daughter. And the idea is we don't need to see what's going on down there because we're seeing it. But it's like it's a moral that transcends life and death, and I think that's kind of cool and true.
It's almost Coco-esque in a way. It's like Coco light.
Essentially, yes. And I think I don't know. Maybe this is why this stuck with me after all these years. I'm not sure, but I love that sorry, let me just find my thought here. I don't know. It never dawned on me, I guess, until this very moment. But I think that kind of that Coco rationale is maybe why this stuck out of my mind so much for all those years. Is the fact that again it's like this this lesson that can be valued from any perspective, from from even like the most ridiculous thing is a ghost having to tell us to a ghostly child, and the fact that it's a good moral. It's a good moral that's it's enforced by kind of this bigger than life Halloween kind of totem of Halloween. I guess that's kind of cool, you know. So to reveal the ghost family upstairs, and again the father's telling the daughter, like, it's and again the good moral of it all here is like, hey, people, someone could have gotten hurt, and their feelings definitely could have gotten hurt.
Mhm.
And hey, that's such an excellent moral. I guess it always stuck with me, and just how that visually is communicated. And the boy says, "Well, the boy asked me to help him. I just wanted to go to the party. Well, there are better ways to have fun." Then we pan back down, and we reveal that they go, Muffy, no, I'll have no. They cop to it and they say, but seriously, we did see a ghost. Oh, no more. Go have fun. I like that it wasn't angry. It wasn't a punishment. There wasn't any of that. I guess it's so rare. It's like so non-conventional and kind of fun. It's a way to shake things up and kind of end on that ghostly haunted train note. It's kind of a good confluence of things. And as the kids go back to the party, George is like dressed like a mad scientist or something, and he sees our actual ghost as sheep ghosts, a family of sheep ghosts. Cool costume, you too. And of course, the father is floating unintentionally. He gives him brings him down. And they share a little wink, and it's like, oh man, that's a good moral. I like that. It's cute. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Final thoughts, Dragon?
Final thoughts. It's a big it's nostalgic comfort to me. It really is, and I like that. It kind of it still measures up to what I felt about it years ago. I'll give it that. I like that. It's still kind of it maintains its resonance. It's a fun. It's I kind of realize it's sort of like a fun perspective shift on a Scooby Doo plot, because usually we're seeing like we reveal who the guy pretending to be a ghost is. In this case, we saw everything that went into crafting Scare, so it's kind of like a bizarro kind of reverse Scooby Doo plot. I think that's kind of interesting. We don't see that enough of the time, like what goes into engineering a Scare that actually has like a bit of a ghost of like kind of PS at the end of it, and it's innocent. It's an innocent. It's a fun Halloween special. I'd recommend it. I think it's great. It's kind of an all ages thing. It's kind of it's nice, and it's got a few nods to like things from the real world, like kind of Goosebumps and kind of book series, and kind of that scholastic nod. That's sort of like it's educational, but while still being it's not losing its identity in the fact that it's somewhat adapted from a book, or that it's referencing like something that is designed for education. It's a nice little chat. It's a fun little nostalgic chapter from the Arthur universe for me. I like it.
Yeah, I think it draws a really fine line between being, really educational and nice and, not too preachy. And also, there's a couple genuinely kind of, if not scary, very ambiguous kind of like things that they leave you with. And like I said, I didn't grow up with this one, but I kind of wish I had, because I feel like I would have the same kind of emotional response to the end that you do, which is why, Dragon, by the way, I kind of just let you kind of riff through the last part of the episode, because I kind of won that to be your moment. Because I just don't have nearly the investment in it that you do, unfortunately.
But real quick,
good episode. It's very well put together. Again, with the 11-minute storytelling, it's very very what's the word I'm looking for? Very economic storytelling, if you will. And yeah, about it.
Also, Louise Brooks, 1920, in the comments, also loved this episode growing up. So, again, we're kind of simpatico in that way. Cool.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like if I did watch this episode growing up, I'd appreciate it even more than I do now. But Arthur is one of those things, like, it's kind of like, I feel like he's right on that same line with Doug and Hey Arnold, you know what I mean? Where I feel like the fact that he's been on air so long maybe takes away some of that. But especially in the early days and the early episodes of Arthur, it was really just like, like episode after episode where they had a formula going on and they knew how to use it. So every time we get the chance to explore Arthur, I relish in it.
Like everything up to Postcards from Buster. I think that was kind of Arthur. It's like pushed to its extreme, and like that is the furthest you go, and then it busts her left. Things just kind of the wheels kind of came off.
I hear you.
All right.
All right. So that's the end of tonight's selection, and our spirits grow weary, but they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday
Hijinks. I broke my pumpkin. Can I be a side?